With the nearby release of patch 7.55, the countdown to the new expansion is more hyped than ever, and it's got people thinking about what they want or what the game needs for 8.0 more than they already had been. I think it's reasonable to say I have had a short wish list, which some of has already been fulfilled, such as Regional Party Finder. But whilst the community is speculating and hoping for changes varying from specifics for the job system, adjustments to gearing progression, to so many more options for the character creator, I'd like to talk about an aspect of the game that I wish would get a little TLC in the new expansion. Free companies. Free companies are Final Fantasy XIV's guilds, and compared to other MMOs, they tend to be considered more of a social group than a raid group. The current system, however, has a good flexibility to it that allows FC leaders to shape the FC rather freely. This sounds good, right? So why do I want the devs to cast their eye over the FC system? To put it plainly, I wish the FC system had a little more of an in-game structure. Let me explain. First, some background. I've been an FC leader for over 4 years now, and I've adored the role. I'm super passionate about building communities, and maybe it should be more of a secret how much I like Final Fantasy XIV. I love hosting events for my FC to absolutely no end and helping them out with the game. For a good amount of time in that 4 years, planning things for the FC was my favourite part of the day. So, the current system. What exactly does it consist of? The arguably biggest benefit of being in an FC for the average player is access to FC buffs. There are a variety of buffs that FCs can equip, allowing for increased XP, reduced teleport fees, increasing the duration of your food effect, and more. You obtain these buffs by speaking to the OIC Quartermaster at your FC's associated Grand Company and exchanging FC credits. But how does an FC earn FC credits? Lots of people regard the currency as mysterious, and the game gives incredibly little idea as to how you can earn them. The active help tutorial for free companies simply states, companies will advance in rank as their members earn company points by undertaking various duties around Eorzea. These tasks will also earn companies credits, which can be used as currency to purchase various items. The only other time this point system is mentioned is in the active help pop-up for joining a free company, where it only gets slightly more detailed. As company members participate in various duties around Eorzea, they will not only earn experience points for themselves, but points for their free company as well. There are a variety of ways in-game that have been documented to earn these points, even though the game doesn't notify you if you earned them. Inviting new members, crafting high-quality items, triggering Gatherer's Boon, completing supply and provisioning missions with your Grand Company, completing fates, duties, and quests, and earning achievements. FCs often find themselves drowning in credits, particularly as the range of things to spend them on is small. The range is a few furniture items, a couple of things needed for the FC workshop, and some seeds. Some of these items can also be obtained through other means. It's not unusual for an FC to try to sell their company credits by exchanging them for tradable items, usually of value to those interested in the workshop, and setting up a party finder to advertise what they want to buy or sell. I guess that leads us to the workshop, a renowned moneymaker. The workshop is one of two main differences between an FC house and an individual house, the other difference being player rooms, and serves as an upgraded retainer venture system. Craft specialised gear to kit out your airships and submersibles, send them out to look for goodies and unlock recipes to craft more gear and goodies for yourself. Incredibly cyclical in nature, the workshop can be rather tucked away, but once you know what you're doing, the workshop is the powerhouse of the FC house. It can require plenty of time and/or gil to get started, but with the right routes, you're then presented with a seemingly passive source of gil. The workshop is the one element of FC systems that gets regular updates, adding more submersible voyage locations alongside minions and crafted furniture that gets added to the game. Could the power of the workshop be why shell FCs buy up empty plots? Or is it the inverse, with rich players needing more things to spend their gil on? I was going to say, let's talk about housing, the idealistic vision that struggles in reality, but this is part of a wider problem players have, and would be primarily through my personal lens of being an FC on a quieter data center. So let's leave it for another video. Now that we've established how the systems currently work, let's look to what they could be. The North American Fanfest keynote has revealed that Square Enix is looking to modernize so many in-game systems with the arrival of 8.0, and I don't think FC should be left out. In a game where quality of life has arguably removed various social aspects of the game, why not see if there's a little something that can be done to reinforce the structure of a primary in-game social system? The announcement of Regional Party Finder is massive. It's something we've needed for many reasons. It will benefit FCs too, as you can't communicate with your FC very easily at all if you travel to another data center. As an FC leader, it sucked. I like being able to answer questions and chat with the group's members. I'm sure I'm not alone on that, but traveling to do the content that I want to do completely eliminated that as an in-game social option for me. I, for one, am very happy that we're getting Regional Party Finder, and this is one of many reasons. I love Final Fantasy XIV, and I love being an FC leader. I can be known to go over the top with FC events and the likes, but having an in-game FC calendar or scheduler would go a long way, regardless of if an FC wants to host glamour contests or raid nights, ocean fishing trips, or a big dreamt-up summer camp event or a murder mystery night. We have the company board, but it's not enough. Particularly if you're actively recruiting and getting new faces in that maybe don't know that map night is always Thursday. And you're having a one-off glamour contest with an Eternal Frost theme on Saturday at the Forgotten Night in Ishgard. Even down to if friends want to celebrate birthdays, a calendar would be a really useful, versatile tool regardless of how casual, close-knit or large an FC is. Various Final Fantasy activities are often relegated to Discord servers, at least in my experience on EU data centers. And it's not unusual for FCs to treat their Discord server as their community hub. It's useful to be able to communicate with the members when they aren't logged into the game, and generally has a level of convenience compared to the companion app. It can be great for signposting community norms such as map night being every Thursday, but does the existence of Discord mean added in-game structures to support FCs shouldn't be thought about? I don't think so. Let's come back to company credits. It would be great if there were more things we could spend them on. Imagine if there were FC Crest themed framers kits that could be given out to members. Looking at some numbers. Grade 2 FC buffs, which are unlocked at rank 8, cost 6,020 credits. Most FCs run 2 buffs 24/7. Regardless of what they are, it wouldn't be unexpected for an FC to spend 84,280 company credits on buffs per week. That sounds like not an insignificant number until you realise just how accidentally company credits are earned. We can run some numbers here. My FC has been active for 229 weeks as I'm scripting this video. This means we've spent approximately 9,300,120 company credits on FC buffs. Currently in game, we have just below 30 million company credits. Not including who knows how many credits we spent on workshop fuel, that puts us at a minimum of 49,207,165 company credits earned in the FC's lifetime. And given that we tend to hover around 30 members, we might not be a tiny FC. We are anything but a big FC. Back to the numbers. This won't be entirely accurate due to how in-game activity shifts over the course of an expansion, but on average, we've earned minimum 12,301,791 company credits per year, and end up spending 4,382,560 of them on buffs, leaving us just below 8 million company credits in excess. Please remember these calculations don't include company credits that we've spent on ceruleum tanks over the years, or the few other options we have for company credits. So the calculations with points we've earned are a minimum. Did you know the most expensive thing that can be bought with company credits is a Bahamut miniature furniture item for 100,000 credits? Second place is taken by an Odin miniature at 75,000 credits. Development team resources are being taken up for other aspects of the game, so I'm not going to ask for a whole bunch of new items to be made just so we can spend company credits. However, it's one aspect of FCs I thought worth bringing up, and somewhere developers could consider putting some future items. What if company credits had more use, maybe as an option to open FC rooms, either as an alternative to Gil, or mayhaps something a little different? Rooms that don't belong to any singular FC member, but serves as an extension of the FC house. This idea would be somewhat redundant for larger FCs, admittedly, unless it was separate from the 512 private chamber slots an FC house has. But the option for more community spaces that can be decorated, particularly if an FC has a smaller plot, might not be the worst option for ways free companies could spend more of their credits. Ultimately, we wouldn't want any items locked behind the company credits that an FC leader could withhold from someone's collection. I imagine if that were the case, then maybe you'd just leave and find a new FC, but hypothetically, it might not be ideal to have triple triad cards or hairstyles that weren't obtainable through other means. I wouldn't be surprised if this hypothetical is why there's a lack of items that can be exchanged with the credits. I can see it being a situation people would want to outright avoid. I had a discussion with some of my friends and we came up with a couple of other ideas for how company credits could be used. I want people to think about Island Sanctuary for a minute. Specifically the aspect of it where you can schedule workshop crafts over the course of a week. Now please consider if we had some form of buff scheduler. It might cost some company points to unlock, and the buffs themselves could either be bought from the Grand Company and then loaded in, or if bought through the scheduler itself, cost a little bit more for the cost of convenience. Whilst ideally, people from an FC that can refresh buffs will be logging in daily, this option allows some leeway. Buffs could still be swapped in and out if desired, but automatically, at a time where something else resets on the server. What if FC buffs refreshed automatically because someone set it up so there was truly 24/7 buffs without worry? Our next main idea was the ability to hire an NPC for housing maintenance, someone who will come along periodically to water the garden and clean the chocobo stable. To take it a step further, if you were near the FC house at the right time, you'd see an NPC wander along and actually water the garden, or sweep the chocobo stables. Similar to Imperium's Blue Elephant, I think this would be very cute, and it's something I'd definitely be willing to spend company credits on. Of course, NPC pathing could be an issue depending on decor, so it might not look exact, but the NPC could come to the gate and sweep for the chocobo stable, and some other emote for watering the garden. We do have /water these days, which could be a perfectly good option. I'm just not sure if that'd look odd in the gateway of a plot rather than over a crop. I quite like both of these ideas. They are smaller maintenance tasks of running the FC. Neither feel completely necessary, but they seem nice to have in my opinion, and could work for FCs of almost all sizes and purposes. Know when raid night is? Schedule in a food buff extender. A casual FC that only uses battle XP buff and teleport fees reduced? Schedule it in once a week or so. A new FC that don't know if in terms of company credits they are secure enough to use the scheduler? They can still use the current system of buying buffs from your Grand Company and manually using them so things are a little bit cheaper. Then, in terms of a housing maintenance NPC, of course it's not really an outright need for probably almost anyone, but I do feel like it's a nice to have. Maybe you have to talk to your Grand Company to hire this NPC every so often, needing to rehire them once a month, or maybe even weekly. Or perhaps there could be an option to allocate a budget, and that will hire the NPC for as long as that budget still has enough credits in it. Then you'd get a message from the Grand Company letting you know funds were running low and that you need to refill them. I don't think small quality of life changes like this would be a bad shout. Imagine if it was combined with an FC rank system rework to unlock before rank 30, or some things maybe beyond rank 30. As of patch 5.2, FCs were able to increase from a maximum of rank 8 to a new shiny rank 30. This brought an expansion of the FC chest, along with the ability to store more inactive FC buffs. For newer players, it can be hard to imagine a change like that was implemented as recently as Shadowbringers, but I just want to quickly remind people that patch 5.2 dropped on the 18th of February 2020, 6 years ago. Anyone who's been part of a free company that hasn't sat at rank 30 for their entire time as a player will know that it's not overly difficult to reach rank 30, and players have been hoping for another rank expansion. Could Evercold be the expansion where FCs can grow in rank again? As well as the quote-unquote usual FC rank upgrades of more FC chest storage and increased FC buff storage, could there be opportunities to unlock other elements such as what I've mentioned? Hitting rank 35 opening up the opportunity to unlock the scheduler, rank 37 for the NPC hire, rank 40 to unlock a bonus communal area in the FC house. Maybe even unlocking bonus crest options along the way. This is all wishful thinking, but an increase in free company ranks would be a pleasant surprise. Even more so if it felt like cool new things were locked behind the new ranks. There's probably a plethora of potential changes they could make and new ideas they could add to FCs, so if you've got an idea, I'd love to read it in the comments below. To move on from company credits entirely, no matter how a leader decides to run their FC, certain expectations will be attached either to themselves or other generally high-ranking members. The exact expectation will vary from FC to FC. It could be to raid lead, or provide opportunities for people to get together in one form or another. This is a little more of a personal request, that in all honesty, I've debated including in the video at all, but I think it's important for me to be upfront with my own experiences, just in case someone out there watching this can find comfort that maybe they aren't the only one feeling a certain way. I'd really like some form of structure to the way free companies work that still allow for flexibility, but something to encourage members getting together more. This could be something in-game that provides a guiding hand for FC leaders looking for events to host, without needing to refer to third-party tools like FFXIV Collect, to see what things people already own and what they potentially could be interested in. Maybe something like the suggested achievements. Something that's more, pull the quest off the board and go. This is very much going to lean on the more vulnerable side for me. I've been an FC leader for so many years now, and delivering a good experience for my members has meant so much to me. And then I burnt out, and have struggled to continue delivering the experience that these members signed up for. It was my own doing. Arguably, I was taking things too seriously, putting too much on my plate, and that's totally on me. I'm sure I'm not the only FC leader who's experienced some level of tiredness from years of trying to stay on top of what items people have, what activities people want to do, juggling schedules so people can actually do these activities together, trying to figure out how long a group will stay interested in that one particular activity, all whilst balancing whatever stuff is going on in life. Looking back now, it was always one of those things that was going to catch up with me. But honestly, I wouldn't exchange my FC for the world. I really wouldn't. I just wish there were better systems in-game to support FC leaders by providing small, potentially spontaneous activities that can be hosted without much fuss. Something like a mini team building exercise, and something that offers some form of incentive for members to try to team up together. All in all, elements that can reduce the weight on leaders and higher ranking members' shoulders for those that maybe do take things a little too seriously, and have known so much pride, excitement and happiness from what they've delivered for their FC. If I had made this video a couple of years ago, this segment wouldn't exist. I wouldn't have felt the need for something like this. But between spending far too much time planning things for the FC back then, and the general effect of time taking its toll, I think something akin to a quest board would be nice. I've considered the possibility of this being tied to Wondrous Tales or the new weekly tasks that have been announced, a bonus for FC members getting together. Otherwise, we'd have 3 potentially similar systems, and it could be tricky to provide a separate reward scheme for the FC exclusive quest board. But I'd like you to take a second to picture this. Someone new has joined the FC. Everyone's being welcoming, they've jumped in your Discord server, and they're keen to get involved in the group. They might be halfway through Endwalker, so can't join in with the level 100 weeklies that are scheduled for the FC, and they miss the monthly major FC event by about a week. What if there was some kind of system with mini ideas that could be used as an icebreaker and team building activities to get them introduced to the group a little better? Obviously, people can just do this off their own back. I'm not saying that they can't or aren't already, but some pre-made options to even spark inspiration again would provide a new option for FCs to have. A new FC lead that maybe doesn't really know what they can offer fully yet would now have ideas within an FC menu that are ready to go. Or maybe consider this. I'm sure most FCs have players that log in but have mentioned plenty of times they just don't know what they want to do, but they want to do something. For whatever reason, Party Finder isn't an option for these players. They might not be confident enough to jump in, or they might live on Chaos Data Center. A grab-and-go activity that they can involve other FC members in allows this member to go from potentially being a more passive member of the FC, waiting for an invitation to come their way, to potentially being more of a go-getter, able to create opportunities for other members to jump in. With how enthusiastic I am about building communities, nothing makes me happier than seeing people who didn't know each other at all prior to joining, participating in something together. something as simple as daily roulettes, all the way to forming a static. Seeing people in a voice call, knowing that it's from the community existing as a whole, rather than myself organising and scheduling whatever activity as FC lead, will always fill my heart with warmth. I said before, I debated including this segment of the video at all, but I think the option of something like this will benefit a variety of players. Imagine a Sprout joining the FC and seeing this quest board. Or they see that Weeklies or Wondrous Tales has some bonus incentive for completing tasks with your FC. It's going to encourage them to ask for help or ask to jump in. They'll be curious. Something like this has the potential to affect FC leaders, FC members that might be more passive, looking for the next thing to do, the go-getters of the FC, just providing them with even more ideas to throw at people and rope them into a party with. And Sprouts and new FC members? That sounds like an awful lot of the player base to me. Again, I don't know if this would best work as a separate system, or just some bonus add-on to the new weekly system, Wondrous Tales, or maybe even Faux Hollows. But I do think something to provide that extra structure and support would go an awful long way to improve community engagement within FCs, and reduce whatever load an FC leader or higher up member might find themselves faced with, so they can provide a more consistent experience for their group. I don't know what the chances are for any of these to happen, but it would be so nice if FCs got to have a little makeover in Evercold. As a primary social system for the game, I think it needs it, from credits to ranks to structure and support. What else would you like to see change in Evercold? Let me know in the comments below, or consider joining the conversation while I'm live on Twitch, or slightly more offline in my Discord server. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. Discussing different in-game elements that could change in Evercold has been really fun. But for now, I'll see you next time.